Hey boys and girls. Okay, so we just learned how to go from area and now to volume. We know that the differences between area and volume is that volume has height included as a dimension. Length, width, height. Now, not all of our figures will look as simple as a cube. Sometimes they will look something like this. You have this figure in your workbook. The figure's measurements or dimensions are not the same as the one I have drawn here. This is a very similar example that we will work on solving together to help you solve in your workbooks. This figure, they have given us the length of the entire base. They have given us the width of the entire base, and they've given us the height of the entire figure. However, we have missing parts of our regular rectangular prism. We are missing the height of the top of the rectangle, and we are also missing the width of the top of the rectangular prism. Now, you might be wondering, well, how do we solve? Well, we're going to work on it together. Let's first solve for this top half right here, okay? Now, I know that the entire height is 4 feet. Let's see where else they have given us a height. This is a height right here. The bottom of this two-part figure is 2 feet. Now, if the entire thing is 4 feet and the bottom half is 2 feet, what do you think we need to do to solve for the missing height? Yeah, we can subtract. I can take the 4 feet, the height distance from the very top to the very bottom, and subtract it from the height of the bottom half of the figure. 4 minus 2 equals 2. And don't forget your label. So this right here is also 2 feet. Now, let's solve for the top half's figure's length. Okay? We know that the very front and bottom is 10 feet. Now we're looking for this part. Remember, this is the same as the one all the way over here. Let's also look for other lengths that are along this part of the figure. The entire base is 10 in length. Now, let's look at the sides. Here, I can see that there's 2 feet that contribute to the same length over here, and there's also 2 feet that contribute to the length here. I can most likely, and this is how we will solve, take my whole length and subtract the other lengths that also make it up. So I can do 10 minus 2, we got that from here, minus the other 2. Remember, if I were to continue this line up to here, then I would have also had 10 on top. But I don't. These parts of the figure were removed. So if 2 feet removed from one side and 2 feet removed from another side, then we can also remove it from our total to find what was left over. 10 minus 2 is 8, minus another 2 is 6 feet. So this top this top length is, yes, also 6 feet. And we have to remember to label. Now, let's try to figure out the volume for the entire figure. It's not as simple as a cube when we just did 3 times 3 times 3, because here there was no cutouts like in this figure. So what we're going to do here is that we are going to split up our figure. Let me grab another marker to help us out and see that. Okay. What we could do is we can cut this figure in half. Now, I can solve for the bottom rectangle and I can solve for the other top rectangular prism. Sorry, I keep saying rectangle, but I meant to say rectangular prism. Just like there's a difference between a square and a cube, there's a difference between a rectangle and a rectangular prism. Okay. Let's look at the bottom of this picture. Let's look at my length, width, and height. My length is 10 feet. My width is 4 feet. And my height is 2 feet. Remember, I am breaking up the two rectangular prisms. So I can solve, and then I will add the volume of each part of the shape together at the end. So let's review one more time. I got this 10 because it is the length of this part of the figure. I got the 4 because it is the width of the figure. And I got the 2 because it is the height of this figure. Okay? Remember, I cut it off right here. I'm only working with this part of the shape. Okay? I'm only working with this part. So, 10 times 4 is 40. And 40 times 2 equals 80 feet. And remember, cubed. Now let's work with the top half. Okay, so let's look at the measurements for the top. I have my length, which we just solved for, remember right here, 6 feet. Okay, so I'm gonna erase and give myself some room. So now we're looking for the top half of this figure. My length times my width times my height. My length is 6. My width, right here. Oh, I erased that line. My width, I'm sorry. So my length is 6. We got that from the top, and we solved for that right before. Now I have to multiply it by my width over here. I know that my width is 4 because I can see here that this line is the same throughout. It doesn't change, okay? And then my height, which we also solved for, that was the first thing we solved for, right over here. Okay, that's how high the second part of the shape is. So I multiply 6 times 4, yep, 24. And now 24 times 2 equals 48 feet. And then we cube, because again, I just multiplied 3 different dimensions. I hope this helps, boys. Oh, no, we're not done. So now, to find the total volume of this shape or figure, I need to add my 2 volumes, my 48 feet cubed for my top half of the figure and my 80 feet cubed for the bottom half of the figure. Okay? So now I have 80 plus 48. 0 plus 8 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. And remember, feet cubed, because this was also feet cubed and this was feet cubed. You always have to label. So the total volume of this shape is 128 feet cubed. Let's try to practice what we worked on here together for the problem that's in your books. It's drawn very similar to this problem. And I tried to follow the same steps that it asks about in your book as well. Good luck, and please post any questions below this video as a comment. Talk to you soon, boys and girls. Bye-bye.